Hello, AJ. How are you doing, mate?
Well, Frank, it's a bit of an odd one, really. We're recording on a Friday afternoon rather than on a Thursday
Well, it's actually
evening.
still morning.
It is technically still... Oh, God, it is. It's 20 past 11.
So, to give greater context, AJ has ran all the way down from Standish, which is approximately how many miles have you worked it out?
5.5. 5.5 miles.
It's 5.5 miles?
Mm-hmm.
Seriously? It's only over the road?
Yeah, 5.5 miles.
So, which way did he come?
The way that I drive, so over Parbold Hill, down the other side, and then up.
You know what? I'd never have thought that was 5 miles.
Yeah, it is. It's bonkers, isn't it? But that's really all it is.
But that said, I know, it does make sense, I suppose. I think because if you start off at the lower end of Parbold Hill before you start climbing towards the Miller and Carter, I think just by where is there a coffee van there?
There is, yes.
I think that's around about 3 miles from there to mine. So the other's 2.5 miles from yours too?
From the coffee shop to my house, yeah.
And which way have you ran there then? Have you gone according to the road, or have you...
Yes, I have, I've gone according to the road. There's paths near enough the entire way, actually, from my house all the way to yours, so it's quite a safe road.
Is that difficult part, isn't it? The dual carriageway and then the motorway, of course.
That's right, yes. So the first half of it, you on the slip road to come off the motorway, it's not so bad because they've got traffic lights there, so you can sort of get over. It's when you're getting over the slip road that goes onto the motorway on the northbound side, that's when it becomes a little bit difficult. But because of the time that I set off, traffic wasn't mental, so I could get... I found an easy enough spot to cross, and then I was on my way. Really, yeah.
Well, you've done your 56 miles anyway, haven't you?
Yeah, I cleared 56 miles last Sunday, I think it was. Yeah, I've joined a running club local to Wigan. They're called the Baldies Running Club.
The Baldies?
Baldies Running Club. Yes, they were founded by 4 men with follicle. Incapabilities?
Issues.
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
So they
why are you laughing while you say that?
No, not at all. Because I couldn't choose my choice of words. Is all. So I had to keep it.
So 4 Baldies decided to start
a running club. Yeah. And then it became inclusive of people of the follicle capability.
What do you shave? You've got to start shaving your hair. Surely. You've got to shave it off. You're going to get it cut off. That big mane of hair.
Well, can you imagine what the stark contrast was? Having hair down my chest. And then all of a sudden,
I know, but listen,
bald.
But back in the day, I had long hair myself, and then went drastically from being a long-haired lover of Liverpool to a bald-haired
Evertonian.
Yeah, and listen, I've never looked back since.
It's always suited you. Brilliant. Yeah. So yeah, I've done my 56 miles as of last Sunday, but because of the amount of miles that I keep putting in, walking the dog or going on runs, things like that, it just makes sense to keep it all accounted for. I'm not entirely sure how many miles I've done in total. I know that I've done. I think I've surpassed 16 now, and we've 60. Got. 16 this week.
All right.
I think I've certainly done over 60 now, but I'm not 100% sure what I've done in total. I'm not sure the exact number.
I think I've done round about that. I was hoping to get round about the 116 mark, but I'm going to get no time at all. I've got no time today, and of course
tomorrow's
it's the final day tomorrow, and it's match day, so won't be able to do anything tomorrow. So I think it's just over 100 miles I've completed.
Wow.
Which I'm happy with. I did a lot of it early doors because I was worried about whether I'd have to get an operation. But I've managed to avert that for the time being. I managed to do a 5 mile the other day.
Okay, excellent. Were you in Southport for that one?
Yeah, went and had a quick walk around while she was doing the shopping. And the difficulty, of course, now is that every time I do a walk, I end up with some kind of numbness, either in the feet or the legs. Mainly the right leg.
You're pushing yourself far too much.
Yeah, well, I think now that we've achieved the target. I mean, the one that.
You achieved it in a week. Let's put that out.
Yeah, it was close to, wasn't it? 8 days, I think, wasn't it? Yeah. So I went for it, hook, line, and sinker. Just wanted to clear it out of the way, which I managed to do.
Yeah.
But I think for a lot of people, James included my son. It kick-started his fitness campaign.
Yeah.
I think you'd sort of laid off the fitness for a while, hadn't you?
I'd laid off running, certainly. I'd sort of only just got back into the gym in late January, and obviously February then came around the corner, so it gave me a bit more of an opportunity to start putting the miles in.
It's a good impetus, isn't it? It gives you the impetus to do it.
Yeah, it does. It does. It gives you something to move for and work for. Like I say, most of mine have been achieved by walking the dog, whereas, James has actually been running it, hasn't he?
Yeah. How long did it take you, by the way, the 5.5 miles?
I'll tell you now. Let's have a look. Pretty much dead on 50 minutes to do 5.4 miles.
Not bad.
That's
so you're ending what? It's 10k, would it be around about 55, would it? A bit more? 57?
It would have been about, 55 to 57, but bearing in mind there's a lot of hills. On a flat surface, I know that I can go better than that.
Yeah, but you've come all the way down the big part of Parbold Hill.
Yes, I have.
So you should have flew down there.
You would have thought so.
I should have shaved off 10 minutes there.
No, not at all, because you've got to think about your stability in your knees. If you start going flying down, you easily overbalance yourself. So there was a lot of traffic coming up that hill as well, so I had to be sort of somewhat careful.
Yeah. So I'm doing, back in the day, about 3-4 years ago when I stopped running.
Really?
I was doing 10k's in. I've been doing a bit of running.
Yes.
Until I found out that I shouldn't be running at all.
You barely walk.
But I was told after my operation that I shouldn't run again. But then, listen, they didn't tell me things like the damage that grafting a cage together, grafting the two sets of bones together would ultimately do in the end. So I was totally unaware of it. Sometimes I don't know whether you fully listen to things when you get told you're going to get operated on. I think they should all put it down in writing, shouldn't they?
It would really, really help. Yeah. I mean, I struggle with spoken word at the best of times. So I need stuff written down if I'm going to retain the information.
So 3 or 4 years ago, I think I was doing 10k's in. I just started getting under the 50-minute barrier.
That's really good.
So I'm doing really well. I think the first time I did it, after years, I think I did it just on 59, so I'd just done it under the hour. So I was really pleased with that. And then I managed to get it down under, I think I got it down to 47, 48 minutes, but I'm not entirely sure.
Nice.
It'll probably take me 2 days now. Speed walking.
I was going to say, like, you're managing to walk sort of 6.5, 7 miles. So
I've never really had a big problem walking. I mean, most of my pain is upper back.
Yes, it is.
The issues are with what's happening now with the spinal compression and what's happening with the lower body now. So in terms of, it sometimes feels as though you're dragging sometimes you feel as though you're getting dragged down, and other times you feel as though you're dragging your feet. So the worry is that you end up falling and doing further damage. Sometimes, like, I don't know, I don't lift my foot up properly, my leg up properly, so that's when I hit curbs and things
that's
like
when you
that.
start to scuff. It's a difficult balance to try and.
But I love walking, and it's. I've always said to Rowena, if there's one thing that I don't want to give up on me, everything else can give up on me, but don't let my legs give up on me. We take it for granted so often, don't we? We put one foot in front of the other.
Yeah, I mean, I've had. How many times have I been off my feet now? Because twice, actually. Yeah, so I ruptured my ACL back in 2019.
Very painful.
Yes, so I was off my feet for about 6 weeks there. And then I had it operated on in 2024. Again, had to be off my feet for sort of 6 weeks or so. Yeah. So, during that time, I really missed walking, running, even just going out to go to the garage or walking around my block at my old house, stuff like that. I just couldn't manage for a period. It was so debilitating. Also, the looks you get as well. Like when I was doing my weekly shop, I had to use one of those electronic scooters with a trolley on the front. The amount of looks I got, it was so dignified.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So
we can appreciate how difficult it is for people in those positions.
Oh, yes.
Even more so when it happens.
Very much so, yeah.
Anyway, anything more cheerful to talk about?
Oh, I mean, United beat Everton.
United beat Everton. Did they?
Yeah.
Oh, right. When was that?
Monday night.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't watch much of the game, to be perfectly honest with you, because it was in the bingo.
Of course you were.
Yeah. Celebrating 30 years of Darren, because Darren, the bingo caller there, has been there for 30 years.
God.
30
What a
years.
staunch staple of Mecca Bingo St Helens.
Yeah.
Bananas.
Amazing. Well, yeah, I found it amazing. Anybody could spend that amount of time in any one job, never mind bingo
I
caller.
don't think I can. I don't think I'm
he's an
30
absolute
years.
legend. He's funny.
Yeah.
Really, really funny. So, yeah, we were there. So, occasionally I watched on my iPhone. And it looked as though it was all Everton.
At that time, I think in the second half it certainly was. I think in the first half United started better, but then Everton got much more of a foothold into the game, defended in
Anyway, how
deep.
comes this more amusing anyway?
Sorry?
How comes this more amusing?
I don't know.
Well, how's this in making us happier? It's not making me any
No,
happier.
it's not making you
telling
happier.
me that
It's
Everton lost.
It's making me happier.
But they didn't particularly play very well, did they, Manchester United? So they got away with it to a certain degree.
No, so we defended reasonably well. I think our goalkeeper had an excellent game.
I think you made it easy. We made it really easy for you because defending corners, I mean, that was ridiculous in the end, wasn't it? It was farcical.
Yes, it was.
They should have freed themselves up a little bit and charged in on goal rather than doing that. They missed a trick there. They could have scored a bag full of goals.
Would have been help. Yeah, would have helped you, but it really helped us to have a goalkeeper who knows what he's doing in that situation as well, and just command his box just that little bit more. It's mad to think that he's only 23.
Yeah.
Really, I don't think I could do that at 23.
I think Pickford was very much like that, wasn't he? At that
yes,
age?
he was. Yeah, Pickford will rain down hell on anybody for making a mistake. Really, I think he could do. Even then, to be honest, did you hear about? Because you obviously you're bingo man. Somebody at the bingo in Wigan. Scooped the grand prize. It was about 250,000.
Yeah, we got told about that. So what's happening is now the national game, which is played obviously nationally throughout all the bingo halls in the country, they've got a new prize now. So anything from originally it used to be if you won within 16 numbers you got £50,000, and then there's other prizes if under 20 I think it's 1,000. Sorry. Might be 10. Under 24 is £100. But now they've dropped it right down to 14 numbers now. So if you can get, bearing in mind you've got to strike off 10 numbers in 14. What are the odds on that happening? We thought it was almost impossible. So yeah, they reintroduced the prize cap, which used to get. Back in the day, years ago, I think it used to be around about 40 numbers or something like that. It used to go up every week until somebody'd won it, I think. But I'm not too sure. But anyway, yeah, somehow somebody managed to win £250,000, and this was only introduced in a couple of weeks ago. Yes,
they're going to draw it right back again, aren't they? Now it's going to be.
So bearing in mind, I go to the Wigan one as well.
Yeah,
so I missed a trick there with that.
Well, yeah, you did a little bit. I think it was a Club 3000. I think it was.
Club 3000.
There you go. So yeah, somebody in Wigan has done that. So yeah.
Hopefully he's a Schem supporter.
I don't think she was. No.
Oh, so it was a she.
It was a lady.
How do you know it was a she?
Because
she's got a female name. I didn't know. You see, I didn't get told whether it was male or female.
No, I remember.
Were you just assuming that?
No, there was a picture of her holding the giant check outside 3000.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah.
I need to see this because we might recognise it, Rowena and I, because we go there occasionally. We don't enjoy it as much at Club 3000.
Hence why you go to Mecca in St Helens.
Yeah, well, we get entertained there. Even if we lose, we get entertained.
Yes, you do. Yeah, Darren goes for it, doesn't he?
Yeah, definitely. So, yeah, we were talking about Everton, weren't we?
It's certainly we're talking about Everton, yeah.
I'd just like to finish off there with, I noticed, particularly on social media, David Moyes getting a hell of a lot of stick.
Yeah.
Over his tactics and such like, and then I'll listen to Jamie Carragher, and I don't always like listening to him because sometimes he can be as anti-Everton as they come.
Yes.
Bearing in mind he was a former Evertonian himself.
He grow up, wasn't he?
But quite sensibly, he turned around and said that Moyes, the players that Moyes has in the team now, he's got absolutely the best out of them that he possibly could. They are playing way above their station.
Yeah, I think the Everton defence is probably one to be admired. Really, you've got Tarkowski, Keenan, Branthwaite, and Pickford, who were all like
It was absolutely lost, wasn't he, in the end when they
Tarkowski.
When the goal.
Yeah,
the breakaway.
It
he
was
couldn't keep pace.
No,
was it Sesko?
It was Sesko. Yeah. Sesko, sort of known to be one of the hardest workers in the team. Sort of loves to.
Fast, wasn't it? I mean, whether
rapid.
Tarkowski was really, really slow, but he was rapid. He was like
Sesko was gone, wasn't he? He was absolutely off on the way. But between those four, you've got like a bit of a staple of Everton's kind of hard crusted defence. The midfield, you've got Idrissa Gueye, but I think more solutions need to be there. And you were missing Grealish. I think Grealish missing was a massive loss for you. I know you had Njai, but Njai could only really do so much. And I know that Tierno Barry has done a bit. He's put himself about, but he's
not scoring enough goals.
He's not scoring. No, he works, but he doesn't score, and that again is another issue for you. So I think Moyes has recognised that, which is why he's so defensively focused and structured, and it nearly paid off for him. I think he's doing extremely well with what he's got. I just think he needs a lot of investment in his attack in the off season.
Have we brought one player in January transfer window? Did we? He was.
Was that a backup striker that you bought?
I don't know. He played a small part in Monday. Well, I didn't watch it, to be honest with you, but I noticed he was on at some stage.
Yeah. I think I know who you're talking about.
I just can't remember who he is.
There you go. Then that probably says anything. Yeah.
I mean, it's better when you can get more high-profile players. At least you know what you're getting when you get the likes of Grealish.
Yeah.
Albeit on loan. I don't know whether he'll come back now because he's out till the end of the season, isn't he? I don't know whether we'll exercise the option for.
I would have hoped you would
to purchase him or not.
I would hope you would.
One of these, a false dawn again, isn't it? You think Everton's getting taken over, and there's going to be money available, and then it seems to be the old Arsenal thing, really, isn't it? When Arsenal built the Emirates. Yeah. For years they couldn't really invest in the team, could they?
Not particularly, but I mean at that time they had world beaters in their team, didn't they? That was sort of
they
from
didn't
19...
at that point, did they? By that stage they lost the
in 06, they had.
They lost a lot of decent players and they fell back. But it's taken a long time, but now they seem to be getting their act together.
Ooh, maybe. I don't know, they drew with Wolves and they're drawn with Brentford, so I think they've let Man City come back into the game a little bit more, so this is squeaky bottom time.
Yeah, it's been a really funny season in the Premier League, hasn't it?
It's not.
I think it goes back to, I would say it's the most disappointing Premier League. And you have to go as far back as the last time Manchester United won the league.
2013.
When I thought that was really disappointing as well. I think Manchester United, probably the poorest Manchester United team under Alex Ferguson, managed to win the Premier League.
Yeah, near enough.
Even then. And I think that, obviously it was David Moyes last season, and I thought Everton played the better football in the Premier League that season. And I accused Moyes at the time of being tactically unaware, making the wrong substitutions too late in the game and what have you. So, we've come back, 13 years?
Yeah.
Manchester United have not done much. Everton have done even less.
Yeah.
But I think it's a disappointing season.
It's been a dull season, to be honest. It's been dull, like the way that football is played these days, the tactics of it, everything's down to numbers and stats and expectations, and I just think the natural flair for football's kind of gone out of the top game a bit.
I've noticed a lot of teams, like particularly Manchester City, seem to take advantage of these lulls, don't they? When a team looks as though it's going to break away and it's going to win the league, somehow City managed to.
Yeah, but that's been the hallmark of their season for years now.
But if they pull it off this season, next season they're absolutely going to fly, aren't they, again? You just know it.
Well, I don't know. I think Guardiola's done at the end of the season.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, well, he's got a year left on his contract, but I've been speaking to a lot of City fans and they feel like his head's just not in the space. No, I think he's just done now, and I think I think he will go in the summer. Like, he set his team up to rebuild really well. You know, they brought in Semenyo and Gay, players like that. So I think they've got a good platform for next season. I just think it'll be under a different manager.
Yeah, I think it's difficult, isn't it, to maintain that interest for a long enough time. You've got to have a different challenge. Everything's the same. You're walking in the same entrance, leaving at the same time every afternoon, evening, whatever it is, becomes predictable.
Yeah, managers are kind of moving with the times, really, aren't they? And generally speaking, people just aren't in the same job for that length of time.
Do you think that's pressure? Because we look at Klopp, don't we? We felt very much when Klopp went, that was pressure.
I think it was pressure for Klopp. I think he burned himself at both ends to the point where he actually physically just couldn't handle, being the manager and trying to figure out how to usurp Pep. So I think that has a bit of a degree of, relevance to what we're seeing. What we're seeing now, I think there's some managers there who can be in it for the long haul if they choose. I think Keith Andrews is one at Brentford. He's just signed a new deal now that'll take him into 2030. I hope. And it really depends if you get this job, but I hope that Carrick could be the guy who sticks around for a number of years.
I think for so many reasons, and I mentioned it last week, didn't I, or the week before, I don't think he will, because there's too many things that can go wrong there, and then they'll always refer back to the fact that you should have got somebody and that was proven. Manchester United's such a big club. They tried it with Solskjaer, didn't they, and it didn't work.
That was a bit... I feel like that was a bit different. Because Solskjaer, for all his management capabilities...
But he'd actually managed before,
He'd managed at Mould and done...
Where's Carrick managed?
Middlesbrough, and he'd done really well at Middlesbrough. Yeah. And he'd had a bit of a stint at United before as well. He was the caretaker manager for a little bit. So there's nothing massive to his game at the minute. But Carrick was one of the cornerstones of Solskjaer's reign, where actually you felt that the people behind the scenes were doing more work than the man in the limelight. So Solskjaer probably took the plaudits, but between Carrick, Mike Phelan and Kieran McKenna, all of whom have had, Phelan not really, but otherwise McKenna and Carrick have had decent enough starts to their managerial career.
The only thing I'd say to you is Carrick looks the part, acts the part.
It does look and acts the part.
And seems to be doing a really good job.
I think that's like the proper cultural reboot that we were looking for.
Seems to have just matured with it overnight.
I think
almost.
I don't know if he matured, but I think he knew what he wanted to do. You can
see the difference, can't you? I think when you look at Solskjaer, I don't think everybody believed that he fully sort of matured as sort of that high profile feel of a manager.
Yeah, I think he was under pressure straight from the off, really. I think he was always going to have the backing of the fans, but how long would that last him? Really, he had to, reflect that on the pitch, and I don't think he did. And I think when Ronaldo came back, I think that derailed a lot of his natural progress.
The thing I was going to mention was Wayne Rooney. Of course, when Wayne Rooney went into... I know he'd had jobs before, but when he went into Birmingham in that documentary, he didn't look like a manager, didn't sound like a manager, it didn't feel like it was going to be a long-term job there,
No, it didn't. And that was... I don't know how surprising that is, really, because you can be, excellent student of the game, but you just can't transfer it across into being a good manager. I think he's one of those that did. I think Patrick Vieira was another one who, really good on the pitch, but just can't transcribe that off it. It's as for Carrick, I don't know. I think you just got to take it to the end of the season and kind of see where they are. I really do believe that he'll get the job. I certainly hope that he does. But I don't know. There's a lot of moving parts to this.
Anyway, they've spent too much time talking about professional football, haven't we?
25 minutes, man.
I know, yeah. Listen, I think we need to get on with the proper show now.
I think we do really need to get on with the show. Talk about non-league, which is why we're all here.
Yeah, let's go. We love non-league.
Certainly do.
Hello and welcome to the Speaking Frankly Football Show. I'm Frank Hughes, the chairman of Skelmersdale United Football Club, and alongside me is my co-host and passionate press officer, AJ Vergette. Not that being involved in the football club is a prerequisite for hosting a football podcast, but it certainly helps. We are ready to dive headfirst into the vibrant world of non-league football in the North West, and we might even take a moment to discuss some of the bigger headlines in the sport. We'll explore life in the North West counties, bring you interviews with well-known faces in the league, and analyse how local teams are performing while making bold predictions for their upcoming matches. Nothing is off the limits here. We'll be diving into all kinds of topics, including complicated refereeing decisions and regulations that often leave fans perplexed. We want to hear from you too. This is your show, so don't hesitate to reach out with topics you want us to tackle. Let's get this conversation started and enjoy every single moment. We are speaking frankly. Hello and welcome to the Speaking Frankly Football Show. This is episode 31 in season 2, and a very warm welcome to my co-host AJ.
Hello Frank, hello everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in yet again on Groundhop Weekend in the Northwest Counties. What a magnificent... It's like Christmas for football, isn't it, in the non-league? A time when you can completely rejig your entire weekend, put on the back burner every family obligation that you've got, sod the bills. They can wait till wait till Tuesday. Never mind your wife wanting to redo the house. That can wait until next year. It is Groundhop Weekend. 7 fixtures in the Northwest Counties, all at the centre of this magnificent Groundhop event. Delightfully put on by that man who we interviewed a year ago. Forgotten his name.
He's ground hopping somewhere.
He is ground hopping
somewhere near you over the weekend, and hopefully, listen, we'll get this show out before tomorrow morning. In fact, we might have it. We have it. Listen. So we're recording. It's Friday morning.
It is Friday morning.
It's Friday morning. We'll hopefully have it out before the fixtures tonight,
which is 7:30. I think the Friday fixture is for Groundhop.
Yeah, just looking at it now, I can't see them. Where's it gone?
What do you mean you can't find it?
Oh, there, I found it, yeah. So Groundhop starts tomorrow with Darwin versus Cone. Yeah, we'll come to that later anyway.
Tonight.
It starts tonight.
Yes, it does.
Did I say tomorrow?
You did.
Did I?
Well, Darwin were at the centre of...
really confused.
You did. But Darwin were at the closing Groundhop last year when they played Droylsden. I think Droylsden won that one.
Yeah, and of course, for anybody that doesn't know, it does give the opportunity for some of these clubs to benefit from really good gates.
Big gates, yeah, because everybody just wants to get smashed and watch non-league football and experience all the different stadiums. Excuse me.
Cheers to you.
Cheers to you.
We've been involved in a Groundhop, albeit away from home, a few seasons, 3 seasons ago when we were at Charnock Richard.
Oh, aye.
We played on a Sunday, and there was a really, really healthy crowd there. I think there was about 700 on that particular day.
That's really good.
It is
That's
fantastic.
Really good at Mozzie
You can
Park
see the coaches coming, arriving for the game. Good for the bar revenue, and good for catering and what have you. Of course, excellent for gate revenue.
It is. It's massive, and it's now become a staple of non-league football because the ground hops happen in every single region of non-league football. You've just got to find when yours is local to your area. Yeah. As for the Northwest, it is this weekend, so we'll go through that a little bit later on. So we'll crack on with the Northwest counties first of all, and straight to Burscough, Franklin. What happened with Burscough?
Yeah, well, Burscough lost to Chadderton 3-0 on Saturday, was it?
Yes, I think it was Saturday.
But absolutely no disgrace there at all. The usual suspects, Lewis Bairn and Benito Lowe, scoring either side of Matty Barlow. Been a difficult sort of couple of weeks for Burscough. They've had really tough opposition, but I'm sure they'll get back on track pretty shortly.
I think they will. Yeah, it's one of those things. But at the opposite end of it, you have to wonder: is that the end of their promotion credentials? Do you think? I mean, losing to Chadderton is one thing, but they've got to battle all the other teams there. They lost to Wythenshawe a couple of weeks ago.
The playoffs are a difficult one, really, aren't they? So they're only going to get through via the playoffs if they do. They've played more games than most of the teams around them.
They have. They've got
I just think you've got 37 games they've played now.
Yeah.
They've got
9 left.
They've got 9 left. Any team in that sort of top, sort of third to ninth, if they put up a really, really good run now, any one of them could still, they could still get into that top 5.
Yeah, they could. So that's
sorry, from 6 to, what did you say? Yeah, 6 to 9. So you've got
6 to 9.
West Didsbury, Bearscough, Atherton LR, and FC St Helens. Beyond that, I think it's a little bit more difficult for teams to get into.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely, yeah. I think you're right. I think that is the cut-off as well. But there's got to be a lot of consistency in the team's run of form at this point to try and negotiate that. I think Atherton LR and Earlham are probably the teams that are best placed at the minute. They're the form teams right now. Earlham are just inside it. They occupy the third playoff spot, whereas Atherton LR are 8th at the minute. So they have 3 places to jump if they're going to get in. They were on their way to a win over FC St Helens last weekend, but fell foul to the weather just at the half-time mark. They were leading 3-0 when that game was called off. That was one of several games that were called off midpoint in the game due to the weather.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever known as many games to get abandoned in the same weekend, have you?
I have not, no.
A lot of postponements, obviously, but never so many. And
abandonments.
Yeah, I mean, was the weather that bad?
The weather did turn really bad at some point on the Saturday.
Because we kicked off early, didn't we?
We did kick off early, so ours was a 1:15 kick-off, but when the weather was really, really coming down, just at the penalty shootout point for us, which obviously we'll get onto later. But yeah, that was when things started to go a little bit haywire. So FC St Helens with Atherton was the one that was abandoned. Prestwich Hayes versus Stockport Town. West Didsbury and Chorlton against Ramsbottom were abandoned just in the Premier Division alone. There was also abandonments at Garstown and Holker Old Boys in the Northern Division as well. Yeah.
So, listen, looking at the biggest shock defeat, Wythenshawe, who lost to the Isle of Man at the weekend.
That was
a
bonkers.
6 o'clock kick-off.
Yeah.
Over on the Isle of Man. 2-1 they lost, but they were leading 1-0. A very quick fire back. I think they scored in the 15th minute, and Isle of Man got back on terms 2 or 3 minutes later.
They did, yeah. Stephen Hewitt took the lead for Wythenshawe after 13 minutes. Stephen Whitley equalised for FC Isle of Man about 4 minutes later, and then just prior to the hour mark, Dean Pinnington scored what proved to be the decisive winning goal for FC Isle of Man. It's not a result that any of us saw coming, but it's one which boosts FC Isle of Man up to 19th in the league. So they're pulling away from Barnoldswick Town now, level on points with AFC Liverpool and just a point behind Cheadle Town. So they've done themselves no disgrace whatsoever with an excellent result that you would have thought would have put the cat amongst the pigeons as far as winning the league was concerned. However, second place Ramsbottom could not take advantage of Withy's slip-up as they lost 1-0 at home to Exton Villa on Tuesday night. A follow-up of another difficult game that they had against West Didsbury and Chorlton, which, as I mentioned earlier, was one that was abandoned due to the weather. So 2 games that Ramsbottom could have taken points from. One, the weather outpointed them, and the other, Exton Villa outpointed them. Really, really difficult period of time for Steve Wilkes and his side. They do still retain second place and a very strong chance of making the playoffs, and they do still have 2 games in hand on Wythenshawe, so they can still cut that gap down to 6. I think they would have really been hoping that they could have cut it down to 3.
So mentioning the abandonments, of course Atherton LR will feel more aggrieved than any because they were winning 3-0 against FC St Helens. before the game was called off at half time.
Yeah, Dave Jones was really impressed with his Atherton LR team, and why shouldn't he be? FC St Helens is a difficult place to go at the best of times, but played grass pitch as far as the LR are concerned. And they worked hard for that 3-0 advantage. Will they get that in the replayed fixture whenever it comes around? I'm not sure. I think Dave, whilst complimentary of his side, I think he was frustrated that the game sort of couldn't go
Was there any arguments there with
I
the
don't
referee's
think
decision?
so. No, I don't think there was. Neither FC St Helens. I mean, you probably not expect much complaints from FC St Helens, really. But even from
Bar the
LR's,
groundsman.
bar the groundsman, who's got a bit of a job on his hands. But even then, even from an LR's point of view, they weren't that agree. I think there was good reason to do it. Obviously, FC St Helens are not playing too far from where we are, really. Only a handful of miles in it. So and they were caught out by the weather like the rest of us. So, yeah, I think LR have just got to screw their heads back on and go again. As I said, they are the form team. Meanwhile, Division 1 North.
Well, let's just visit the bottom of the Premier League.
Oh, fine.
Not my fault, it's not scripted there, but I didn't have time to do it. But not much change at the bottom. Litherland is still bottom on 9 points. Albeit there's been a little bit of a resurgence since the new manager took over.
Yeah, a couple of draws in there that we talked about. Steve Scott, bringing hope, maybe dignity. I'm not sure. Maybe a bit of both to Litherland Shores. They've also brought in a couple of new players to the side as well. We're hopeful that they can make a bit of an impact. City of Liverpool still second from bottom on 16 points. They were beaten 6-0 by Earlham on Tuesday night and by Exton Villa 4-0 on Saturday afternoon. Some really difficult times for City of Liverpool, underlined as well by their squad turnout on Tuesday night, in which Richard Brodie had to start himself.
But bear in mind though, they managed to keep it to 0-0, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. I was about to say they kept it to 0-0 at a half time. Unfortunately, Earlham opened the floodgates 1 minute into the second half through Alex Francis, and then Earlham really put their foot on the gas with 10 minutes to go. Callum Sandel, Jack Mitchell and John Johnston all scoring with less than 10 minutes to go, which really kind of makes that result a lot bigger than was deserved, perhaps. And with what City of Liverpool achieved with just 12 players, that's highly commendable, I would think. Yeah.
136 goals conceded. Goal difference of minus 101. I can't remember what ours was last season.
It wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad.
No, it wasn't. We conceded 100 goals plus, but we hadn't. Our goal difference wasn't in the trip figures, unfortunately.
And we only played one more game than at this stage. So, was it 36 games we played last season?
34.
34, yeah, even less. So, yeah, one less. That's a hell of a lot of goals conceded there.
That's a lot of leaky goals, unfortunately. I think it's just the way that City and Liverpool have. It's hard. It really is. I can't imagine what
the form table's on the back, by the way.
I know the form table is on the back. Yeah, absolutely.
Managed to print it on the same page again.
But 26 goals conceded in 6 games as well. That's really rough going. So that's what 6, 12. It's about 4 goals a game, give or take.
Two.
It's rough going. So yeah, City of Liverpool still second from bottom and 6 points behind Abbey Hay, who I think won that, because that Friday night fixture, that was the big one between them, wasn't it? Was it Friday? Or was it Friday last week? Abbey Hay playing City
Liverpool.
In
football, such a long time.
I know, right? Honestly, we've no idea what we're doing. But anyway, City Liverpool second from bottom. Abbey Hay third from bottom on 22 points, and then Pilks fourth bottom on 21. I think Pilks were part of the story from last weekend, where their first game was against their old gaffer on last Saturday. Where is it? So Jack Edwards, who famously resigned from Pilks on Boxing Day after having beaten FC St Helens, recently announced his return to non-league football at Cheadle Town.
Need to get him on the show?
We certainly do. And his Cheadle Town troops welcomed his old employers Pilkington and beat them 2-0. A double from Jonathan Nixon in front of a decent turnout of 121, who probably thought they'd see more drama than football, which has boosted Cheadle Town up to 17th, overtaking AFC Liverpool and FC Isle of Man in the process. Now just a couple of points behind Exton Villa in 16th.
Yeah.
Good start to his Cheadle career for Jack Edwards.
Yeah, moving on to Division 1 North at the top of the table. Droylsden didn't play, but Darwin took advantage with a 1-0 win over Main Road to reduce the gap to just 2 points. Nelson's poor league form stopped as they managed to beat Fulwood Amateurs 4-1 on Tuesday night. That was 7 points behind the leaders with 5 games in hand, but still it's the most frustrating thing to look at on paper if you're Nelson, isn't it? Because
it really is.
It feels like you're a million miles away, yet you've got all those advantages.
Well, it's all those advantages that may not necessarily work as advantages because they're having to play a lot of games now. So they played on Friday night against Bacup Borough. Thursday night when we were recording with Andy, and they were beaten 2-1 by...
which was a shock.
Yeah, it's a shock. It's a shock that none of us predicted. It threw Bacup Borough into the playoff places and left Nelson in mid-table. I think they were 9th by the beginning of the weekend. Nonetheless, they did put their foot back on the gas and beat Forward Amateurs by 4 goals to 1. I'm just having a look at the scorers now, or at least trying to. So Connor Hughes, on his return to the club from Mossley, he scored in the first minute and the 45th minute to put the home side in command at the break, and Jack Doherty scored a double as well to round off what was a bit of a stylish victory for Nelson. 87 turning out at Little Wembley. Nelson now in 7th place, but have a cluster of games that they've got to play before the end of the season. Now, whether they manage to overhaul Droylsden and Darwin, who occupy first and second position respectively.
Well, that could change over the weekend because
really
we say Droylsden are in the FA Vars. We'll talk about that later. So Darwin, MSB, Walton and Bacup could all take advantage, and one from any 3 of them could end up top of the table by the end of that Saturday evening.
They could.
So at the bottom of the table, Garstown beat Ashton Athletic 2-1. Didn't really expect that one, considering they'd beaten Thornton and then drew to McGull 2-2. At the weekend.
Yeah, we thought Ashton Athletic had really started to hit their stride. Obviously, speaking to Andy, he'd made note that the talent was there amongst the players. It was just there was something that was just missing. They'd had an excellent result away at McGull. They probably could have won that game. McGull scored both goals via the penalty spot. Whereas Ashton Athletics, both their goals were in open play. So it could have been 3 goals secured, 3 points secured at McGull. Nonetheless, they went to Garstang, which we know can be a wonderful atmosphere, but I honestly thought they would have won that game. They scored from the penalty spot after 48 minutes through Sam Gill, but Bobby Carter and Stephen Mercer had already put Garstang in control by that point, and so the hosts held on. It's not enough to usurp Ashton Athletic at the bottom of the table, although they do close the gap on Ashton and Main Road to just 2 points with a couple of games in hand on the pair of them. So it could be a bit of a battle to see who finishes bottom there. It really could.
And going into the final 9 games, Ashton, aren't they? So
they are. Their season is almost.
Garstang have 3 games in hand.
They do have 3 games in hand on them. So Garstang could easily overtake Ashton Athletic, but equally, Ashton Athletic could chuck themselves up into the middle of the pack. It really is all to play for in Division 1 North from top through to bottom. Cone were the big winners at the weekend. They beat Holcott Old Boys 3-1 in Barrow-in-Furness, which is no easy feat by any stretch of the imagination. I don't think any of us saw that coming. Holcott Old Boys obviously mired in the fortress of the Furnace, but lost to Cone. It's probably a bit of a hallmark of quite a disappointing season for Holker Old Boys. They were in the playoffs last season. They're not even in the top half of the table this time around. And then losing to Cone, not just by 1 goal, but by the odd goal in 3, making it all the more an achievement for the East Lancashire side, who I'm sure will be absolutely delighted just to have a bit of a shine on this weekend.
I'd love to get. I think it's Dave Round, isn't it, manager of Holger?
If you say so.
I'd love to get him on the show and see how difficult it is to manage a team up in that area, quite isolated from the rest. We've heard stories of it's more difficult to get teams together to go for the midweek games when the. What's up?
Holker Old Boys versus Cone was abandoned on 66 minutes. The score was 3-1.
Right, okay.
Right, scratch all that. They were winning 3-1, they just didn't get the points. For God's sake.
Well, yeah, crikey, didn't see
Why
that.
we need an actual researcher and producer on the show.
Seriously, is that what happened? Oh, so yeah, they're the big losers as well, alongside Everton and aren't they, in that sense?
Little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, apologies for that. Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
We'll start recording the show again from the beginning.
We're going to shake our heads.
We'll get it right this time. Yeah,
Anyway.
well, listen, that's it's astounding.
That's
irritating. A bit of a get-off for them.
Yeah, for Holker. Right, Division 1 South, moving swiftly on. Runcorn Town, still top of the league, following a 2-0 win over Sandbach United in Sandbach at the weekend. Again, never an easy place to go. Sandbach can be an absolute fortress at the best of times, but Runcorn, as appears to be their moniker throughout most of this season, breaching the walls of most of the defences that they are coming up against, league through league, weekend through weekend. Liam Kennington scoring from the spot to give Runcorn the lead, and then Connor Spears doubling that advantage with 15 minutes to go to ensure Runcorn stay top of Division 1 South.
Yeah, they also played again last night, didn't they?
They did, yeah. They played against Wolverhampton Casuals and
the tables haven't been updated yet, so I can't really do a great deal about that.
No, but they won a bit of a canter. I'm led to believe beating them by 4 goals. It was Sandbach who played Wolverhampton Casuals. So Sandbach got back to better ways with a 2-1 win over Wolverhampton Casuals. Runcorn Town played Allscott Heath and won by 4-0. In amongst the goal scorers were the usual suspects Tom Ruffer, Jamie Appley and Matt Vickers, who all got on the score sheet.
But like I said, the table's not been updated.
The tables hasn't been updated,
But
no.
I imagine with that means that they've now gone 7 points ahead of Eccleshaw.
They have. Eccleshaw didn't play on Saturday. They did, however, did they play on Tuesday night?
Don't think so.
I thought they had, though. Bear with me.
No.
Cutting edge.
Pregnant pause. Like I said, the table's not been updated, so...
They played on Wednesday the 25th, so they played a couple of nights ago. Did Eccleshaw. They beat Alsager Town by 3-1. Dan Glover scoring 2 there to ensure Eccleshaw keep
say
pace.
that in the script, you know. Like I say, but they were 4 points... I think they were 4 points behind still at that stage.
Yep.
I think they've got a 7-point advantage now.
Yes.
With no game in hand now, because that was their game in hand.
Ah, right.
I'm assuming it was anyway. Listen, no change at the bottom as Hormond and Shawbury still bottom. So Ormond 2 points behind Shawbury, and a gap of 3 points between Shawbury and Alsager, who are in 16th place.
Yeah, so again, just a lot of dignity and pride to play for in the Division 1 South there between Ormond and Shawbury. So yeah, we'll just have to see who finishes bottom there. Neither of the teams were in action over the course of the week or the weekend. I think we need to give a bit of a shout out to Wolverhampton Casual, who on Tuesday night absolutely smashed Foley Mere 8-0 in the Staffordshire Senior Cup.
Didn't see that one.
No, 8-0 as well. Absolute bonkers, that one. Jack Grimshaw, our old boy, in amongst the scorers for the Casuals there.
Just the one?
Yeah, just the one. But he was part of 8 goals scored against Foley Mere. Who,
it's amazing now when you think about it. When Jack was with us, he's based in Staffordshire, and he used to turn up to training every week without failure, and obviously played for us every week.
What an absolute mooch that must have been for the boy.
Well, it was, because if you think about the North West Counties Division 1 North, and I think, was he there when Pascal Chiambanda was there as well? Pretty sure he was. So he's had to do an awful lot of travelling over the last couple of seasons. Now, obviously, being in that neck of the woods there, he's probably still doing an awful lot of travelling.
He could very well be. At least he's in Division 1 South, if nothing else. That was the end of a very, very difficult week for Foley Mere, as they played Stockport Georgians last Saturday. And were beaten 5-1. Oliver McFadden, again amongst the scorers for the Georgians. That's his 14th goal in 6 games for the Georgians, although he did draw a blank against Eccleshall. But back amongst the goals now for the Georgians, who still retain their place in the playoffs. They sit third.
Yeah, listen, at the end of the show we'll give our predictions as per usual and look at the fixtures ahead for the weekend and the week ahead.
Yes.
We'll sort of cast our little nets over the other teams in the Northwest. Teams. So starting off with Clitheroe, the transfer of Veron Parny to Bury, didn't see that one coming, but both clubs have agreed on terms. Great capture for Bury, do you think?
Yeah, it is. Veron Parny's been an absolute star for Clitheroe over the last 3.
Did I call him Vernon then?
Yes, you did.
Yeah, Veron.
Yes, Veron Parny. Been excellent for Clitheroe over the past couple of seasons. A player who they will really sorely miss. So, in terms of Bury, that's part 2 of a really decent week for them on the personnel front, as DJ Pedro has now returned to Bury from his loan at Southport, as they look to make that final push for promotion from the Northern Premier League West. It's a very bitter blow for Clitheroe. They celebrated their biggest ever win at the weekend when they battered Darlaston Town 9-1. A slow return to form for Clitheroe, and I think given the difficulties that Darlaston have, they've lost 8 players over the last 2 weeks. Yeah. However, listening to the post-match advantage from an interview from Sean McConville, he couldn't quite believe that his team had won 9-1 because he believed it could have been 16 or 17.
All right. So
yeah,
he was a bit disappointed.
He was a little bit disappointed. He firmly believed
he looked happy.
He did look happy. I think he also looked a bit disbelieving as well, because he's just presided over the team's biggest win in their history. But he believes it could have been more, but they'll have to do the remainder of the season without Parny, although they still have some highly rated players in their ranks.
Well, getting back to Parny, I mean, 3 seasons ago when Pascal Chiambanda, one of Pascal's players, believe it or not, we tried to get him on loan at Skem. I've watched him a couple of times. He's an amazing talent. Exciting to watch.
Yeah, he's incredible.
We just couldn't afford to pay the loan fee.
Nah, of course not.
But what a player.
Yeah, he was, and he really impressed Bury fans up and down when they played each other on Boxing Day, I think it was. Yeah. I think Bury just won that game, but Veron, for his own admissions, did himself a great justice in how he played. So a big coup for Bury as they look to push their agenda at the top of the Northern Premier League West.
Obviously, by the sounds of it, he's a contracted player, so
Yep.
it must have included a bit of money. It'd be interesting to know how much, but obviously we're not going to find out that, are we?
No, we are not going to find that at all.
Not Bury spending some of that huge fortune that they've got banked.
Yeah, it's
Allegedly.
possible. Well, yeah, I mean, Jono getting straight in there and looking at the talent at the disposal.
Yeah, he hasn't stopped, has he? Since he's
no, I mean, he signed Navarro from his old. No, he was. They were at Radcliffe. He was at somewhere else recently. Who's he at now? Is he Nantwich?
I don't know, but listen, he's doing an incredible job there, isn't he? He's hit the ground running.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he had to. Luca Navarro, that's the one. He came in from Ashton United. That's the one. Yeah. So he was the first signing under the Jono regime, and Veron Parny has become the second. Now over to Marine.
Well, yeah, listen, there's an interesting twist at the end anyway, because a lot could be decided over this weekend, because I think Lower Breck play Bury
Tonight?
It's
tonight.
It's tonight, isn't it? And it's a sellout. We'll talk about that later.
It's a huge sellout, yeah. So Marine.
Marine, yeah. It started well enough at the weekend for Marine as they managed to beat Oxford City 2-0 away from home. But again, on the travels Tuesday night, Kidderminster beat them 4-0. The distraction of the sixth round of the FA Trophy coming up, do you think that's affected them a little bit?
Yeah, you have to wonder whether Marine see themselves as having a real opportunity for a trophy. The FA Trophy, they're now in the sixth rounds, the latter stages of the competition. Woking, really, really difficult test.
Huge test
for them, massive.
Yeah.
And Marine, we would hope that they wouldn't be sucked into a relegation battle. They're absolutely not. They're in 10th now, and I think it's fair to assume that Bobby Grant may have got his players focusing on the weekend for Woking. Kidderminster, rough place to go at the best of times. Losing to them 4-0. I think that will have irritated him. But I think he's got to kind of shake that one off now and focus on Woking at home. That will be a big crowd at the MTA.
Yeah, and I suppose the focus, they're not going to get relegated, Marine, this season.
No,
there's absolutely no doubt about that. They've done enough work. They've put in the sort of the hard, long slog, haven't they? To get where they are. So the distraction of the FA Trophy, you want to get as far as you can, and there's no reason why they can't beat Woking. Woking sort of not bottom, but sort of lower echelon table in the division above
in the National League.
The National League. So they've got a good opportunity to win.
They have, there's a serious opportunity there for Marine, and I think as you say, the further they get within the FA Trophy, the more that they can believe that they can win it, and why not? We know Marine. On a bit more of a personal level, I feel like if anybody deserves to bring a trophy, back to the club, it's Marine.
Yeah.
Great little team. We love them to bits.
Moving on to Southport.
An excellent
so Southport sort of set the tone for the game, really, because they managed to draw 1-1 with Kidderminster at the weekend. So we're basically thinking Marine probably looked at that as a yardstick and thought, we can beat these on Tuesday. But it didn't happen.
To be, no.
But no, they continued that fine form again with a 2-1 victory over playoff candidates Radcliffe on Tuesday night, I think it was.
Yes, it was.
So they're now in 17th place, Southport, 7 points above the drop zone. Really can't be underestimated how well Neil Dan's doing. And since being under new ownership, the club seems to have reconnected with the local community. And the gates are going up. So they've got a massive game themselves this weekend because they're in the sixth round of the FA Trophy as well, where they'll host Yeovil.
It's a massive game.
It's a massive game, but like I say, two teams in similar positions. Woking, who Marine entertain, they're in 16th. Southport, who host Yeovil, are in 17th place. Not much difference between the two teams. So there's every chance that both Marine and Southport could advance. And what would be a dream final if they could get to
Marine
the
and
final.
Southport.
Whether that could be negotiated, I don't know.
I mean, you'd want the game. I mean, you want the game at Wembley, but for the absolute ball ache of travelling, you'd probably want it to be at the Hill Dickinson, wouldn't you? If it managed to be between Marine and Southport,
it'd make more sense, wouldn't it?
It would make more sense.
But then, listen, I don't know. Everybody's day out.
It's
for the
Wembley.
final, it's got to be Wembley.
It's Wembley. Of course it is.
Yeah, we're talking stupid.
We are talking daft, yeah. But anyway, yeah. So an excellent week for Southport and a week for Marine to ruminate on before their big game against Woking. Very best of luck to both teams.
Indeed.
I think for Southport though, they still have relegation on their mind. I'm sure it's a distant possibility, but I'm sure Neil Dans is keeping his players grounded. But they're going to the FA Trophy weekend. I mean, what have they got to lose? Really, exactly. Let's be honest, so why not? Anyway, more difficult times occurring for Prescot Cables. Relegation is now a serious concern as they slip closer and closer towards that relegation trapdoor in the Northern Premier League. They've collected just 1 point in their last 6 games, with teams below them proving to be a little bit more resurgent recently. They've got to find a way of picking up points quickly, and they are starting with a home game against Lancaster this weekend. Enormously difficult times for the Cables, both on and off the pitch.
Yeah, but I've been down to Prescott a couple of times this week and had a sort of nose at the ground there. Not much has changed.
No. Well, you'd find limited opportunities to be able to do that, really. It's been quite difficult, well, inherently difficult for them, though. Hyde and Stockbridge Park Steels and Workington all picked up points over the course of this week. Morpeth were the only one who didn't, but Prescott are now just 2 points outside of the drop zone.
Do we know how much money they've raised in this crowdfunding?
I think it was just shy of 2,100.
That's not going to get them very far, is it?
Unfortunately not, no.
But I suppose when you've had sort of back-to-back, listen, I think we did it ourselves. We had a couple of crowdfunding raises, and the second one is always lower than the first.
The second one, yeah. Unfortunately, it's less. What would you call it now? People are just used to it. They gave money into the first one, so the very
little sympathy.
I think very little
at that stage.
Time around,
sad, really. I mean, you look at a couple of seasons ago when they beat City of Liverpool in the playoff final, and then you look at where both teams have come. You know how far City of Liverpool have dropped. Prescot Cables having their financial struggles, but at the stage when they were playing vying for the playoffs a couple of seasons ago, they attracting crowds of 1,000 plus.
That's insane.
It was absolutely insane. And then you look at the ground and you think to yourself, once again, when we look at, and I'm scraping. I'm not scraping really. I'm just looking at the surface of it. And when you look at Prescott's ground, it doesn't look as though it's improved.
Right.
Yet there was a resurgent sort of period in their history where they've got that playoff final win. Yeah. And it just looks like a struggle for them, and the ground looks as depressing as, I hate to say that, because listen, we'd give anything.
Yeah.
We'd give anything to have what they've got.
Ground, yeah, absolutely.
But when you can't see the money going into the ground, and
you have to wonder where it's going.
Yeah, well, it's not working, is it?
No. Whatever their kind of financial plan is at the minute, it's not helping matters either on or off. We
discussed it last week about putting far too much money into the football
squad,
than you're actually putting into the facility.
Into the facility, yeah, and it's all kind of come crashing down on them, unfortunately, because players are walking away. Calvin Hare, the goalkeeper, left a couple of months back, and that was that was kind of the main headline of the player walkout, if you like. So very
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 side to that though, Bootle.
I
think we spoke about it last week, and we said that now Bootle, when you mentioned the name Bootle Football Club, it's like a big football club now, and it certainly is right at the moment. Bootle's game against Stalybridge was abandoned at half-time at the weekend when they were leading 2-1. A win would have put them in the playoff positions.
It would, because the Stalybridge Celtic were one of the teams above them. But Celtic drawing 2 and winning one of their last 3 games, whereas Bootle are flawless, winning run, I think, of about 7 games now. They're very much the form team of the Northern Prem West, and still every single opportunity to get into the playoffs there. Quite difficult, quite frustrating, unfortunately, but they can get back on track. They've got Whitton Albion at the weekend. Not easy, but...
But we talk about clubs where they're improving off the field. We know they had a hybrid pitch, which is about to be replaced in the close season with a plastic pitch. So there's improvements all the time, seems to be happening at Bootle.
Very much so, yeah. They continue to draw decent enough crowds. Decent enough crowds in there, and I should imagine that's increasing now with the prospect of a playoff place. Very much in the chase.
Yeah.
So everything seems to be going right at Bootle for now. If they finish out the season as strongly as what they have been doing currently, and they've got let me see, so they've still got plenty of games in which to do it. They've played 30, so they've got 12 left. 12 left in which to, get a bit more of an advance on Staley Celtic, Vauxhall Motors and Avro, all of whom were within reaching distance. And they could find themselves in the playoffs come the end of the season. Yeah. What an excellent result that would be for the Bucks.
Yeah, listen, I've not been there for a long time. I was more visited when they had, was it Bucks Park? Is it Bucks Park?
Oh, that's what it was called.
I forget what it's called now. But we talked about it last week anyway. But it's a great club. And listen, former league club as well, wasn't it, once upon a time? I got that right?
I mean, if you say so. I'm sure you know far more about this than I do. Meanwhile, at the top of the table, Bury under Anthony Johnson beat Spalting Calcer 2-0 the weekend to remain top of the table. That's another win under the belt for Bury. They've not dropped points in their last 4 games. So excellent form coming into the late stages of the season. Lower Breck battered Wythenshawe Town. I believe it was 4-0 to stay in second place. And what a exciting showdown that we've got as Bury visit Breck at the Anfield Community Stadium on Friday night for a what seems to be a bit of a 6-pointer showdown on Friday night under the lights. I'll be hoping for a massive gate as well. I gather that 3 full coaches of Bury fans have been sold out for that trip down to Liverpool. So that'll be an excellent financial opportunity for the Breck. And if they get 3 points out of the equation as well, that will make it a doubly fantastic result for them, as that means they will have closed the gap on Bury to just a single point, with a game in hand on them as well.
Listen, just going back to Bootle briefly, they were reformed in 1953, but the original Bootle FC, which was formed in 1879, did indeed. They were founder members of Football League Second Division.
They were the founder members? No kidding.
Yeah.
That's a really good little bit of information. I had no idea.
I know, it's amazing, isn't it? And they also reached the quarterfinals of the FA Cup, losing to Blackburn Rovers. I don't know what year that was.
The 1870s, I should think, 1880, something like that.
Yeah.
I'm sure we had a conversation like that with somebody very recently regarding Bootle.
Well, I love listening to the history of football clubs, and of course, we had a message from, I think it was Michael O'Connor, who mentioned St Helens Town, which we don't mention very often, but a sort of interesting story really behind St Helens. I think late 80s they won the FA Vars. Similar history to us in many ways. Us won the Amateur FA Cup in 1971. St Helens Town have had a slump. They dropped into the Liverpool County Premier League. as we did.
Yes.
They then decided to actually opt for relegation because they moved over to the Cheshire League and dropped down to the second division of that, and they're rebuilding themselves, building themselves back up again. So,
wow.
and doing rather well at the moment.
Fallen giant, but
we're going to get somebody on from
on the way back up.
St Helens Town to see that come back, because listen, they were the best supported football team in St Helens way before Pilks and FC St Helens were even thought of.
Wow.
So a resurgent St Helens Town, you would like to think that the townsfolk would sort of back them.
Yeah.
The more successful they've become.
Mm.
But it's difficult for them again because they're ground sharing at Pilks.
Are they?
Yeah, so they play their games over there.
Okay, yeah.
So very, very similar to us. If you look
it is actually, yeah. The reality of it is they were a bit of a fallen giant that's trying to rebuild themselves as a self-sustaining club, ground sharing, and in the amateur divisions at the minute, and just working towards opportunities to try and make themselves the biggest club in their town again.
Yeah,
and got a bit of work to do because FC St Helens are absolutely flying, but nonetheless, with a bit of good history behind them and an upturn in form, I think
Well, once again, you have to applaud the people behind the football club that have kept it floating.
Yeah.
Managed to hold on to the legacy of St Helens Town.
Protect it. Yeah, absolutely.
So listen, there's not many controversial issues, but we're going to go to the controversial corner. Something that you mentioned about medical issues at Football League matches, if you want to...
Yeah, absolutely. I raised this earlier on in the week, and it's starting to happen a little bit more at football clubs of late, but this one kind of really sprang to mind. Let's get it up. So this came out of Scunthorpe United. So they played against York City in the middle of the week, and York won. But in amongst that, a member of the fan base suffered a heart attack and was transferred to Castle Hill Hospital in Hull. The fan remains stable and is resting. So the immediate medical action was provided for this fan. The family wished to pass on their heartfelt thanks to all individuals involved in immediately responding to the emergency and for the efforts of the on-duty paramedics. Their swift actions to get him blue lighted to hospital undoubtedly saved his life. If there are any further updates we are able to share, we will do so, but we wish him a speedy recovery and look forward to welcoming him back to the Attis Arena as soon as possible. Now, this draws a couple of highlights to me. One, it is absolutely essential to have people of medical training present at your game. I know that we have first aiders and we have physios and what have you, and you hope to God that nothing ever happens at a game that requires some level of life-saving intervention. Okay, but if you happen to be at the game as a fan or as a volunteer, I would urge you very much to look into taking a first aid course that will help you provide CPR or immediate life-saving, or first aid courses of action to anybody who is unfortunate enough to befall such a turn in ill health. They are quite few and far between at amateur level and at semi-pro level. We've heard awful stories about fans suffering huge turns of ill health, or players suffering broken legs and massive injuries, and we just want to ensure that there are people out there who are ready to spring into action should they be required to or be needed to. You can never have enough first aiders on the pitch. You can also never have enough people who are able to offer solace or offer a hot tea and the ability
we seem to be hearing about this more and more often, don't we? Particularly at live games on television, we've seen it more and more often. And a lot of people mention the fact that since the COVID jab, it seems to be more prevalent. Do sort of back that one up, or do you think we've just taken our eye off it? This has been going on for years, decades, and we're just noticing it more now?
I think it is, yeah, because social media wasn't a thing and people didn't tend to put out statements about individual fans suffering turns of ill health or medical emergencies during their game. I think it's become a lot more announced now.
We never used to see physios from teams going into the crowd and help.
No, we didn't. We never saw that. No, we didn't. But equally, amongst the fans...
You normally expect... You have... As well as stewards, you normally have a big band of St John's ambulance staff there, don't you?
Yeah, you do.
So I would imagine that back in the day, they would have been the first responders to the supporters. Now it seems to be that the physio and the teams... seems to be responding.
At our level, 100%. You certainly wouldn't see anyone from the St John's Hospice any higher than about the National League.
No, I'm talking about in terms of a big crowd now.
Oh, yeah.
What I'm saying is we see it more now. We see a lot of these live football matches or recorded football matches where physios have intervened, gone into the crowd to help resuscitate people that have had heart attacks. We see that quite often now. But I'm thinking, is the reason why we're seeing more of that is because they actually do that now, as opposed to back in the time, St John's would be the first responders?
I think it's possible. I think, like I say, I think at big gates you do get sort of St John's, but usually you know, there are members of the public that are able to kind of dive in. I mean, one of the first medical emergencies I remember ever happening was Fabrice Muamba having a cardiac arrest on the pitch. And it was actually a fan who was part of the cardiovascular team at a London hospital that actually got onto the pitch and provided medical advice to
sometimes your luck has got to be in more than anything.
Your luck has got to be in, yeah. But where at non-league level, we are kind of bereft of major medical and first aid teams there to, you know, assist anybody who has a medical emergency. What I'm doing at this point is just encouraging people to have a look at taking a first aid course. I can understand
you want to encourage people. I think it would be far more difficult down at our level. Step 7, I don't even think I think step 6 you need to have a defibrillator, do you?
I think you need a defibrillator on site, whereas I don't know if we carry one. We certainly don't carry one down at step 7. I don't think any team does.
But we did at step 6, didn't we?
Yeah, a first aid kit I think happens at step 7, but that may be about the best of it. So by all means, go and have a look at where your nearest first aid course is. Get yourself qualified and you know, look to help out where you can. Because honestly, I think it carries its weight in gold. Any kind of knowledge of applying first aid, so that we can minimise turns of ill health like this and provide the sufferer with the best opportunity they've got of surviving and recovering.
And over the last few decades, I've been to at least 3 games where people have died.
Wow.
Through heart attacks.
God.
And I do often wonder whether they'd had first aid assistance, whether they'd have recovered. I don't know. So you're spot on. If you can save a life, it'd be incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. So unfortunately, we're going to have to move on to an element of controversial corner that we absolutely despise having to look at, and that is racism.
Well, we despise having to talk about it almost every other week.
Yeah, we do, because it's now rearing its ugly head again. So, in the midst of Vinicius Junior of Real Madrid being allegedly racially abused by a player from Benfica, racism has reared its head at this level again, with racist events coming out of 2 teams that we've played against last season, know extremely well and have good respect for, and that is Steeton and Route 1 Rovers. So Route 1 Rovers were moved laterally into the Eastern Division last season. They issued a statement after their game against Brigtown last weekend, to announce that they were appalled and deeply saddened by the racist, Islamophobic and discriminatory abuse directed towards our players and coaching staff from a section of the home crowd during today's fixture. The abuse, which led to the referee halting the match temporarily, was directed at members of our club who were currently observing Ramadan, making the incident even more distressing. Also disappointed to hear discriminatory comments directed towards individuals with disabilities. Now, to their credit, they have placed on record the thanks to the management of Brigtown, who apologised to the players and staff following the incident. But the sad reality is that racism and discrimination still exists within football and society. People continue to face these battles in their everyday lives, and it's deeply upsetting that individuals must also experience this within sport that is meant to unite communities and bring people together. Route 1 Rovers are proud of the dignity, strength and professionalism shown by players and coaching staff in difficult circumstances, and they stand fully with them. The fight against racism and discrimination continues, and they remain committed to be part of that fight. Further updates will be provided in due course. So that was at Route 1 Rovers.
Yeah, and of course, Route 1 Rovers, very well organised football club.
Oh, extremely well.
Really, really nice people.
Very much so, yeah. We played them at the Marley Stadium, where they temporarily shared with Steeton FC last season. Extremely welcoming bunch of volunteers and management. An excellent group of players as well, who are absolutely thriving in the Eastern Counties division as well. So deeply saddening there. I actually, from a personal point of view, I played junior football against Brigtown because that's the area where I lived and grew up during my time. It's near Scunthorpe. And although we noted, me and my father, we remember being present at an under-11s match. I was playing, my dad was watching, and he noted that the management team and a couple of the parents who were watching that game very interested in endorsing a deeply physical part of the game, to the detriment of children. At this point, it was
what's really more disappointing about this is, though, I mean, you're talking about a sort of a different sort of incident there, but it's the fact that kids are watching this.
Yeah, kids are watching this, kids are learning from this as well, and that's deeply distressing as well, because I think there is an old adage that racism is taught, isn't it? It's not something that you're born with. I mean, neither of us are in a particularly helpful position to kind of discuss this, because we're both white, but nonetheless, we've seen it, we've heard it, and it's vile.
That said, my grandchildren are of mixed race.
Of course they are, yes.
So it really appalls me. But let's bring it on to Steeton versus Bacup.
Yeah, absolutely. So this the game between Route 1 Rovers and Brigtown, which then led to this upsetting statement, was then followed up by a statement from Steeton, and the other club in which we again have had very good positive interactions with, and they've noted of an incident that occurred prior to their fixture against Bacup Borough on Saturday, although they've not gone into any detail about it. The club wishes to make it absolutely clear that they will not tolerate any form of racial abuse or discriminatory behaviour. Such actions are completely against values and have no place in football or the community. Currently reviewing the matter and will work with the relevant authorities where necessary. Anyone found guilty of racial abuse will be banned from attending any future matches at the Marley Stadium. Steeton FC remains committed to promoting equality, inclusion and respect for all. Now, if you remember, and I'm sure a lot of you do, a period of time when Premier League players and players of a professional nature were taking the knee prior to kick-off, which I thought was that was a positive stance against racism, doing as much as what football players can do on the pitch to serve as a reminder that football is completely intolerant of racism. There was sections of crowds and people on social media who thought that it was outdated, it was unhelpful, they didn't agree with it. Some even booed it. But I think these episodes over the weekend of this stuff happening at non-league level just shows that we are still very far behind dealing with racism to get it fully abolished as much as we can. And I think we've talked about it before, that while we will never show it the red card, kick it out. I think there's still a lot of learning that needs to be done.
It's a difficult one to sort of comprehend, and of course, if you look at the Reform Party and the stance within the Reform Party about mass immigration,
yes,
I think we're getting confused with the two. Opening the sort of floodgates to people without passports that haven't got legal documents to come into the country. That's totally different to being a racist. There's no need to be racist.
Well, yeah. We're obviously talking about. I think it's kind of spread, the political output from people, reading about, news of small boat crossings, and it's transferred over into their application towards football and, everyday life, where they now feel that they can and will say such things, to people who just want to play football. That's all we're looking at right now.
What we're doing is we're sort of derailing humanity, aren't we?
So enormously.
And it's been allowed to happen on a huge scale. And I do take what you on board what you were saying about the taking the knee thing, which started back in
2021.
Yeah, so it was just in the midst of the pandemic, wasn't it? Just afterwards.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel to me. It doesn't feel as though it's made a great deal of difference now. We keep highlighting the fact. We keep, there's still people now, still teams taking knees now, isn't there? Taking the knee now.
It's becoming a little less commonplace, but I think there are there are virtues of it every now and again. Yeah.
But should we have to remind people? That just amazes me, the fact that we can't be civil to other human beings.
No, and we put their skin colour first before the content of their minds. As it's awful. It's disgusting, and I think I would think that that there's still work to be done. I think we still need to, promote inclusivity and promote equality regardless of skin colour. And it's evident from what's happened over the past week that we've still got a lot of work to do. Yeah. And that's really saddening.
I think the problem with football, if we're talking about football as a supporter, is it brings emotions to the fore.
Yeah.
It creates drama, tension, anxiety, and sometimes that can be drawn out in a less than positive manner.
Yeah.
And I just worry that people are getting more and more less tolerant of everything, not just race, legal issues, referees, players, we abuse them, left, right and centre. We have a go at referees on a regular basis.
Yeah.
I mean, what was the other one the other week? The under-18 referee?
The team from Wales who, one of their under-18 managers abused and threatened an under-18 referee, a child, in fact, which has led to, the suspension of all, refereeing of that particular team.
Just think we just generated a mob of unruly people now.
Yeah.
We're just all too highly strung and anxious and...
I think that I wouldn't...
Do you think... Would you put it down to social media, the reason why we see an awful lot and we interpret it in different ways? Different people interpret it in different ways.
Yeah.
And we become an anxious mob.
I think racism is fueled by hate, not anxiety. I think you can... I don't know how on earth you could possibly get from anxiety on social media to hate a football game. I don't know where the bridge would lie between those two that then
We're talking about education. So if you're looking at what information is supplied on social media, and the vast majority, you don't see people protecting people. No. You see people angry, and hostile.
It's a lot of misinformation on social media
and creating a narrative which we largely see, and people don't fight against it because the keyboard warriors fight back, and they fight stronger, and they push genuine people away from it, and they don't respond to it.
Yeah.
So as a young person, when you're seeing that on a day-to-day basis on social media, that anger and that frustration comes out. I'm not just talking about in football, I'm talking about everywhere. Walking around the shops, if somebody stops in front of you suddenly with the trolley and they're just looking up on the top shelf to see, we don't have the patience anymore, and then we call them fit to burn, and I think it's a cycle that gets worse.
Okay.
I just think we're a bunch of intolerant people.
And
I think I am at times, but I'm not racist, but I'm intolerant of.
Yeah, but I think there's a huge difference. I think you can be intolerant of somebody, but you know where the line is to be drawn there. But there are people.
But we don't always do it, because I picked on a assistant linesman, referee, whatever you want to call him, a few months ago, until I realised he was carrying the armband that represented the fact that he was under 18 years of age, and I apologised to him.
Well,
at the end of it, but I shouldn't be doing that to anyone.
No, I know, and in the heat of the moment, you were accosting him for his decision, in football terms. You weren't accosting his skin colour. You weren't accosting his religion, which is exactly what these, subhumans
I might have mentioned sticking his flag where the sun don't shine.
Yeah, again, in the heat of the moment, I think those kind of things happen, and the fact that you apologise, that's an acknowledgement.
I'm so glad he apologised.
Yeah, and I think he was probably.
I couldn't have left it like that.
No, of course, and I think he will have been grateful to kind of hear that as well. We are intolerant of match officials, and I think in the heat of the moment, tensions and frustrations can boil over. That is completely different to the notion of targeting people who just want to play football. I
don't think we'll see some of these people in normal day-to-day life. I don't think you would be able to, whether they are actually racist or not, and it comes out in the heat of the moment at football matches, and that worries me. There's a silent group of people out there that when it gets to that point of frustration and anger, that racism spills out. That's a worry.
Yeah, but I think that's been the case.
That means that there's more racist out there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I
have to wonder whether. Yeah, I think that may be true, and I think you can't really kind of separate those from people with decent humanity. But I mean, kind of getting back to the football at this point is what we do is that whatever these people have, in their mindset, this has spilled out into targeting people who just want to play football, regardless of skin colour, nationality, religion, etc. They found it within themselves to target these footballers who just wanted to go ahead and play football and practice their religion in peace. And that's something that's utterly intolerable, hateful,
totally
and disgusting.
Yeah,
so we absolutely stand with Steeton and with Route 1 Rovers, and we send our very best wishes to your players and your team.
Great people, great hosts.
100%. We're very grateful to them. Very grateful to them. Now we're going to move on to Chester.
Yeah, a little bit of a dodgy one this, because I didn't expect this at all. It just came out of the blue there. Chester have actually gone on record as apologising on behalf of their first team assistant manager and their club kit manager. So this is following an incident during the games against Buxton and Hereford. So there's not a great deal of context to this. We don't know what kind of abuse they've been dishing out. but obviously the board have addressed these incidents with the staff members involved and reminded them of their responsibilities, our core values and the standards we expect as a football club. Both have expressed their regret over these incidents, acknowledged that their actions represented poor judgment, and have asked us to convey their apologies to supporters. Now, the club has said we consider the matter closed, but we don't actually know what exactly
was. Well, we don't know what was said, so
it's about respect to each other. So we expect our players, staff, and supporters to show respect to each other or for each other, even when passions run high. We've just been talking about it, and it's disappointing that these incidents risk undermining the unity that has been such a big part of what we have achieved over the past few seasons. But this is not the first time that Chester been subject to controversial comment.
No, not from a fan, absolutely. So they've reviewed the incident and they consider that comments from a small number of supporters did cross the line from criticism to abuse, but did not expect football staff or club employees to respond in kind. They've addressed the incidents with the staff member, reminded them of their responsibilities, core values and standards, and now consider the matter closed. So it seems like once again Chester fans, and I get it, because Chester's season has not gone anywhere near the standard that they would have thought. So Chester are mid-table at the minute in the National League North. Playoffs seem to be largely beyond them. No threat of relegation, but it is a season of mediocrity. And I think fans have voiced their frustration, voiced their displeasure, dissatisfaction, whatever you want to call it. I don't think anybody expected any employee under the Chester banner to respond in kind or bite back. And I don't know, I'm kind of proud of them that they've done that. I'm glad to see that the actions of the first team assistant manager and the club kit manager have kind of defended their own honour and defended the running of Chester City Football Club over the season, or Chester Football Club. Is it Chester or Chester City?
It used to be Chester City until they reformed. And
so it's Chester.
People still call it Chester City, don't
they?
There
you go. But anyway, I can appreciate that they want to protect their own honour and dignity. They want to protect the honour and dignity of the club, of the players, of their own colleagues. And, you know, when you are experiencing such a tidal wave of criticism and abuse on social media, eventually I think there is a bit of a tipping point, you know, when you just get so frustrated with the fans not backing you, or a small section of the fans voicing their displeasure for how the season has gone, that actually, you know, biting back can sort of feel good at the time after having withstood it for so long. You know, we're both guilty of it. We've kind of bitten back at supporters who've, you know, voiced their displeasure at us, and yeah, I get it. You know, they have to kind of stay within the guidelines of what's acceptable and what is responsible and values.
I think I don't know whether you spot it more. I mean, they've got a big fan base, haven't they?
They do.
Similar to Berries. So yeah, they've got a lot of people to disappoint or please, haven't they?
They do. Yeah, and I think in the same way that we see it at Bury, you know, an enormous fan base, the ceiling is a bit more higher for them than it is for teams around them. Yeah. So I think the disappointment is much more voluminous than what it was with any other team, really. So they have my respect for biting back, but I can completely understand from Chester's point as a club that they've got to uphold the values, they've got to uphold the responsibilities as well. And I'm glad that these staff members have just been reminded of these responsibilities and that no kind of harsher judgment has been put out for them.
Listen, we'll round up a controversial corner.
There is one more story. Yes,
one more story.
Kings Lynn Town.
Kings Lynn Town. How did I forget that one?
I don't know. What an exceptional piece of story this is. So, Kings Lynn Town are being investigated by, is it the league or the FA? I think it's the league.
Well, it'll be the FA.
It's the FA.
Be the league. Yeah, it'll be
Okay.
both. I would imagine. Yeah.
All right. So Kings Lynn Town are being investigated by the footballing authorities for allegedly plotting to have a game postponed. CCTV and photographic footage has shown them to be actively hose piping their pitch to flood it in order to get a game called off. Now, the game in question, was it against Buxton?
Yeah, I think it was.
It was against Buxton, okay, a team who are vying for the playoffs where Kings Lynn Town are not. I think they're in.
No, they were due to face South Shields. Sorry,
South Shields. That's it. Who are top of the league, and rather than play them at this point, they have elected to flood the pitch and look to get it called off. Images have now circulated of the hosepipe in action, and now the footballing authorities are involved.
I did write an article on it, didn't I?
Yeah.
I forgot all about that. That's probably why I forgot all about it, because I'd already released the content. So whether it's true or not, we'll never know. But I suspect it's genuine. So it's a difficult one for them. If we didn't have social media and it was all down to hearsay, people assuming this has happened, then it's either clever or it's shithousery.
Self-destructive, yeah, it is.
I sympathise, to be perfectly honest with you, but I've mentioned it before, haven't I, in the show, that I once upon a time spoke to a groundsman, and I did put it in the article, and the manager had come up to him and said, listen, really going to struggle this weekend. What are the odds on the weather doing its worst and getting the game called off? And he said, oh, don't worry about it, it'll definitely be called off. And then he flooded the pitch overnight. And then when the referee turned up, the rain started pouring that night, and when the referee turned up the following day, he'd obviously taken the hose pipe away, so he couldn't see he was watering it. And then the game was called off. He sat down, he had a smoke, a cup of tea, a biscuit, and then he walked down to the far end of the pitch. He lifted the manhole up, and all the water
drained.
All the water drained. Yeah, by 3 o'clock, the game could have been played. So I sort of sympathise with Kings. This is a non-story if there's no photograph here.
Okay, I've got a photograph.
Yeah, there's a photograph.
Well,
if there isn't a photograph, this is an absolute non-story. Yeah. How many times have we turned around and I've been to grounds when games have been postponed just to double check?
Yeah.
And I've said to myself, I know that game could have been played.
Yeah.
So I know straight away that they've got players either injured, suspended, sick, whatever, and they're deliberately playing the game. They won't be they're certainly not the first, and they won't be the last to do this. But is that a doctored picture? It's very grainy, isn't it?
You never know.
That's what I'd be claiming now. If I was Kings Lynn Town, I'd be turning around and saying, I don't even know where that picture's come from. That is absolute baloney, load of baloney.
But at the same time, they're in a bit of deep water now.
It's not so deep now,
well, no, because they've lifted the manhole up. But Kings Lynn Town, sort of by contrast to South Shields, are in a little bit of a relegation battle. They did beat Buxton on the Tuesday night prior to the Saturday, but unfortunately, the business with the sprinklers has kind of overshadowed it all. Yeah, I mean, you kind of got to laugh, really, but it does put Kings Lynn Town and the name of the club to a bit of shame, doesn't it?
Well, it does.
If they're found guilty.
It does, but you can see the comical side too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, listen, you'd never get away with it in the Premier League, would you?
Oh, God. No.
But you know what we've had? I've been at a game, and I think it was around about the 60th minute of the game when the ground just went into complete darkness. The floodlights went off. And the game was abandoned.
Yeah.
And I can't remember where it was. It might have been Rossendale. And Rossendale were losing 4-0. And listen, I'm saying Rossendale. It could have been any team.
You're speculating.
I'm just speculating here, but it was a team, and it was up in that area, and the floodlights just went off, and they were losing 4-0.
Yeah.
And everybody said the same thing.
Yeah.
Somebody's pulled the fuse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And a lot of clubs have done that over. We hear it all the time.
Yeah.
We do. And listen, talking about the one that I was talking about before, when that game got abandoned, he was actually, the day before, he was actually sprinkling the top end of the pitch because it was bone dry.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That's really weird.
And then he flooded the far end, waited for the rain to come in overnight, and then just took the hose pipe away and let nature do the rest of its business.
God.
And it got called off. But I don't think the manager was aware of what was going on.
No.
I'm pretty sure he wasn't, but
you would hope not, wouldn't you? Land
but that simple conversation he had with the groundsman about, I'm going to struggle on Saturday because I've got a few players injured. What's the chances of the game being called off?
Unbelievable, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel a certain amount of sadness for them.
Yeah, they'd definitely be frustrated by that one. If
I just wonder what the serious sanctions are going to be.
I don't know, because what would it be?
Did he get kicked out of the league for that?
No, I don't think so. Bringing the game into disrepute, absolutely. It could even be tantamount to match fixing.
It's cheating.
It is cheating, isn't it?
Well, it'll be deemed as cheating. I wonder what's the worst could happen.
I've got to ask. You've got to ask the question, don't you? I mean, for me, I would imagine they're kind of looking at the worst a hefty fine or a points deduction. Yeah. So if it is a points deduction, they've probably done themselves more harm than good. Yeah. Because they'll lose points they've already.
It's a bit of a mess for them. Bit of a conundrum. It's quite funny in the same. Yeah, without making too much light of the situation.
Yeah, no.
It is quite amusing.
It is a little bit funny.
And Kingsland, a really, really well-respected non-league football club as well.
To a degree. I think they've created a bit of a siege mentality on themselves sometimes.
Have they reacted to this at all?
No, nothing yet. The National League haven't responded to requests for updates on the investigation, although it has said it was aware of the allegations and are conducting the investigation. Kingsland Town themselves haven't said anything. It's just a fan who's coming out and saying that Kingsland fans love nothing more than having the world against them, singing the song similar to Millwall, "No one likes us, we don't care." There's a bit of a siege mentality, and Kingsland fans can really get behind their club. At the minute, they're sort of flooding the joint.
Listen, we'll round up the controversial corner
funny.
On that. You couldn't get, and listen, it was the sprinkler was in the corner of the ground as well.
Yes, it was.
So you can't get any more controversial than a controversial sprinkler in the corner.
Yes.
Anyway, moving on.
Right, I think it's our time when we go through all the fixtures and predictions for the weekend ahead.
Should we talk about Scam United first and our fantastic fixture at the weekend?
Very well. Yes, we will do that.
So, giving it greater context, I think if you're going to win a game, what better way to win it but on penalties? Always remember Tommy Lawson saying to me that there's no better way of getting promoted than through the playoffs.
Okay.
Yeah, people would like to win the league, but when you win the league through the playoffs, or when you win promotion through the playoffs, there's nothing greater than that. It's a cup final at the end of the season. Yeah, winning games on penalties.
Oh yeah, that's a thing of anxiety and beauty in itself, isn't it? Let's be honest. And we did.
We nearly threw it all the way. Of course,
we did. Yeah, in almost typical Schem fashion. Here we nearly kind of stuffed the whole thing up, but no, we didn't this time.
What time did the equaliser come in? It must have been.
It was the 92nd minute.
92nd minute.
It was the 92nd.
So it was a 92nd minute equaliser by Sid Langford, who was making his second appearance for Schem as a substitute. Made up for the mishap by his brother Joe in goal earlier on. Who would have been, apart from that, he'd had a really, really good game.
Yeah, he did.
He made a little mistake, and listen, can be forgiven for it now because his brother helped him out of the mess?
Well, yeah, yes and no. It was the one mistake that he'd made all game, unfortunately, and it did lead to a goal. But by all other accounts, Joe had a decent game, decent game within goal. Sid, by contrast, wasn't on the pitch and probably wasn't expecting to be on the pitch for another hour or so. He actually came on 15 minutes into the game due to a really unfortunate injury to Mikey Ledbetter, which forced Andy to move his chess pieces around early on. Sid came on, put himself about. I think the occasion may have got to him a little bit initially. He was finding his feet. He was well marshalled by quite a physical, defensive line from Liver Academy, but then he started to grow into the game in the second half. I think he's helped really, really well by having Neil Ellison next to him, who's got about 10 years experience playing,
and a box of tricks as well,
and a box of tricks here and there. But
ultimately, Sid, Fox in the box.
Oh, and the rest.
Good title for him.
Yeah, very much so.
Two poachers' goals.
Two poachers' goals indeed. So the first one,
I thought the second one he'd scuffed, to be honest.
I thought he had. I honestly thought they were going to clear that off the line. I don't know how on earth it managed to sneak its way into the goal, but it done. His first one was...
I thought it came off the tongue of his boot.
Okay.
It was like it sort of scooped off off the lip.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Yeah,
because there wasn't much power in it.
There was very little in it, and I think
the only area it could go in, it went in
that bottom corner. Yeah, and they still had a man on the line who was coming across, and it just about got itself over the line before he got there. I think what luck would have it a little bit in that. Liver players thought the ball had gone out prior to that and stopped playing, but it carried on. Sid's first goal was excellent. Really, it was a goal on the turn from Darren Askew's kind of knock forward, and he swiveled and hit it first time into there. It was a really, really clean strike, and then to kind of add to that, Leighton Baines scored. Was that his first goal for the club as well?
First goal for the club.
It's his first goal for Scam. He started out on the left wing. He's had an excellent hour or so in the game. Scored a goal, and then helped us towards that.
Made his debut at Charnock Richard on the ground hop. Did Leighton Baines?
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, I signed him on in the morning.
Yeah.
Had to go down to his mum's to get it because he was 17, 16 at the time.
Yeah.
16, I think he was. So I had to get his mum to sign parental consent. And he came on in the game, and he set Jacob Rodriguez up for a goal in a solitary goal. We lost. I think we lost 7-1.
Yikes!
Yeah, I think Ben Barnes actually was managing the team. From the dugout, because I think Pascal was banned. I can't remember now. But yeah, so that's where he made his original debut, which was a couple of seasons ago.
Okay. So anyway, yeah, first goal for the club, and then two from Sid, the last one in the last minute. And I've got to kind of stop us there and just kind of give a shout out to Tom Broadfoot, who came on as a sub with about 15 minutes to go, chased down the loose ball past the goalkeeper and the defender, and even when it looked like it was going to go out, he kept running, caught up with it, played the perfect ball across to Sid, and Sid scores from there. But nearly all of that was Tom Broadfoot's making. So huge thank you.
Did you see the video?
To him. I did. Seen it.
I mean, I didn't manage to slow it down, but it did look as though it crossed the line.
I thought it had, but speaking to Tom after the game, he's adamant it didn't.
Yeah. I couldn't slow it down enough, but I don't know whether the full ball went over. But it looked as though it did. But listen, credit to him, because
he kept going.
He's cut that ball in, and to be perfectly honest with you, everybody that side of him has just stopped and called for the offside.
They've called for it to be out of play. But no, Sid was the only one sort of alive to that, and stuck the ball in the net.
He's fast, isn't he?
It's quicker than he looks. Yeah, he's a rapid little dude. But he'll have had the absolute day of his life after that. So he scored 2.
Yeah, and heroes come from all areas, don't they? Of course, they come off the bench. In terms of the penalties, I think there was 8 perfectly well struck penalties. Just happened to be the first one that Liver took, and Joe, of course,
Joe saved it.
So that was the first penalty, wasn't it?
That was the first penalty, so immediately gave us the advantage. So
did we take the first penalty?
We did, yes.
We took the first penalty, they took the second.
Yeah,
Joe saved it, and then from that point onwards, it was a perfect...
It was.
Penalties, but of course we had the advantage by that stage.
But we had, yes, it's obviously best of 5 at that point. So Brandon, Neil, Joe, Sid, and then it's left to our captain, Leighton, to score the 5th penalty. And there we are, through to the second round of the Cup.
It was in Gardy Cup,
yeah. So
I think we play Halewood Apollo in the next round, which I believe it probably is the quarterfinals at this stage, because I think if it's the Premier Division Cup, there's only 12 teams there.
Oh God, yeah.
So 4 would have got
final
6,
and
there would have been 4 games.
Yeah.
That's right, isn't it?
I think it is.
Something, but in the quarters already.
Absolutely. So we've reached the quarterfinals of the Cup this season. What an excellent season!
It's just a pity that we couldn't have converted that to points, because we need the points.
We do need the points, but we have an opportunity.
Well, we want the points. We don't need them because we're not getting relegated.
We're not getting relegated. We just want to, salvage as much dignity as possible from this season. But we do have the opportunity to do that this weekend, because we return to John Bosco to play Liver Academy again in the league this time. We've got to play them twice more before the end of the season. First game this weekend, where we're very hopeful, although not supremely confident. We are hopeful of bringing 3 points back to Skem with us.
Yeah, and it's going to be a difficult one, because we've got injuries.
We do, yeah. So Mikey Ledbetter is injured. I think his season may very well be done, judging by Eve's assessment.
I think his dad said he might be okay in a couple of weeks' time.
Really?
Hopefully, yeah.
Bloody hell, he didn't look like that when he was sort of staggering off the pitch.
Yeah, I don't think he managed to get... I think he went to A&E, but the waiting time there was 5 hours or something like that, and I think he gave up the ghost.
Yeah,
there was very little swelling.
Oh, okay.
So... I don't know. He's certainly out for this weekend. There's
no
doubt
course,
about that.
Yeah,
maybe for the next weekend.
Okay.
Beyond that point, he might be back in training in a couple of weeks. I don't know for certain, but we're certainly hoping that's the case.
Okay. So, is there anybody else injured that we know?
Well, of course, Alex Davis is got work commitments.
Yes, he does.
I think Darren Askew's got work commitments. Who else was injured? Of course, Leighton Baines is injured.
Is he?
Yeah, so Leighton, I think he took a knock to the knee during the game. That didn't bother him too much, but then he went for a run earlier on this week and managed to pull... what did he do? He managed to pull his hamstring, I think.
Oh, no.
Running.
Right.
So, unfortunately, Leighton's going to be out of the equation.
Uh-huh. Yeah, again, not wholly helpful, unfortunately. But anyway, we
might have a couple of debutants on Saturday, let's put it that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what we can do. You never know.
Yeah. So, moving on to the... listen, you didn't manage to tot up all your scores last week,
the paperwork stayed behind here, and then somebody threw it away.
Well, you normally take it with you, don't you? But you were going to listen through the...
Yeah, I forgot.
Anyway, listen, I scored 17 points.
Did you? Right, yeah. I will try and listen back to see if I beat that. So we'll carry this over next week as well.
Yeah.
And see what we all got, because of course Andy was involved in the equation as well. So.
Oh yeah, I don't know where to put his.
Well,
you kept hold of his as well, didn't you?
So his.
Oh my god! So you should have just given them to me.
I know. So yours was mine was thrown away as well, as was his.
Anyway, listen, let's look at the fixtures, starting with tonight's ground hop, which
Friday
is Darwin versus Cone.
Darwin.
I'm going for Darwin, yeah. Premier Division, FC St Helens versus Bearscough.
Bearscough.
I'm going to go for Bearscough as well. So ground hop on Saturday, 28th of February in the Premier Division, I'm assuming? Yes?
No,
Oh, no, this is a mixed bag, isn't it?
Yeah.
So Fullwood Amateurs versus Garstang. I'm going for Fullwood Amateurs.
Actually, I think they're all... Yeah, they're all Division 1 North games.
All right, it just doesn't say, does it? Never mind. Anyway, Fullwood versus Garstang. Where you going?
Fullwood.
Yeah, I've gone there. Thornton Clevelands versus MSB Wilton. I'm going for MSB Wilton.
Draw.
Squires Gate versus Nelson. I'm going for Nelson.
Nelson.
Will be Squires Gate. doing relatively well, so that could
Doing
go either
bits.
way.
Yeah.
Could put another spanner in the works for Nelson and make it far more difficult for them coming into the closing stages of the season.
Yeah.
AFC Blackpool versus Holker Old Boys. I'm going to go for AFC Blackpool.
Draw.
Yeah. So listen, the big games, of course, are in the 6th round of the FA Vars. Droylsden versus Cockfosters. You laugh every time I say that, but so listen. Well, what makes it worse really is Cockfosters are going to the Butcher's Arms. Yeah, make of that what you want. Anyway, so Droylsden versus Cockfosters. I think Droylsden are going to win that one.
I think the Droylsden will be drawing blood from the corner.
Could be drawing anything from it. That's schoolboy behaviour. You've got to stop. Anyway, listen, we'll move on to Hallam.
Droylsden are going to win.
Yeah, Hallam versus West Didsbury and Chorlton.
I'm just going to back West Didsbury and Chorlton here.
Yeah, so am I. That would be great if they could win that.
Yes.
Moving to the Premier Division, Chedderton versus Wythenshawe.
Wow.
That's a tough game, that.
It's a rough game, that one. For me, I think there's so little to separate the teams of late, so I think it's going to be a draw.
Yeah, the only thing with that is Wythenshawe are doing really, really well, but they've only got one sort of big goal scorer, haven't they? And he's probably scored 29 goals. Can't remember his name now.
Saul something.
Yeah. Listen, you keep on rabbiting while
That's fine, yeah.
What his name is.
God, hang on. What is his name now? His name is Saul something. Saul Henderson.
No. Aaron Dwyer.
Shut up.
Yeah.
It's the same person.
Aaron or Aaron, whichever way it's pronounced. So he scored 29 goals for Wythenshawe, and Brian Lai is weighed up with 11 goals. So there's a couple of people there, but most of their goals, half of their goals, are spread out between the lot.
Well, I mean, contrast Chadderton. How many of their goals are being scored by Lewis Byrne?
I don't know.
Come on.
Amazing. It's 40 something.
Yeah, he is close to hitting 50 this season.
So I'm not too sure which way this will go.
Like I say, I'm sort of banking on a draw.
This could be a draw, a big goal scoring draw, or what are you going for?
I've gone for a draw, mate.
You're definitely going for a draw.
100%.
All right. You know what? I've got a feeling Chadderton might do this one, but I'm going to go for Wythenshawe.
All right.
Charnock versus Prestwich Hayes. Going for Prestwich Hayes.
I'm going for Charnock.
Right. City of Liverpool versus Cheadle Town. I'm going for Cheadle Town. Glossop North End versus Longridge.
Glossop.
Yeah, I think I'll go for Glossop. Return to winning ways for them. Earlham versus AFC Liverpool. Earlham.
Earlham, yes.
Remy versus Pilkington.
It's
Yeah.
Ooh,
you know
draw.
What? I actually think Litherland will win this one.
All right.
So I'm going to go for Litherland.
I'm saying a draw because Pilks have made some. They've made some big attacking signings. Yeah. So I do expect Darren Brannigan to get on the score sheet there, but I would hope that Litherland pull out a draw there. Anyway, Ramy versus Paddy. Now, this is a massive game for both teams. Yeah. Paddy just to mainstay...
More for Ramsbottom, because I think Ramsbottom is still in with a shout where Padiham aren't.
Padiham aren't, but Paddyham's playoff places and playoff sort of certainty is a bit less certain.
Yeah.
And and given that their form of late has not been, it's not what we used to with Paddy.
No,
really.
they've two draws, 2 wins and 2 defeats. 13 goals scored, 12 conceded. So the gap between the plus and the minus isn't good enough at the moment.
It's not, no. So they're... Yeah, with that in mind, they did win they are unbeaten in their last 3 games.
Yeah, I'm going to go for Ramsbottom.
I am also going to back Ramy there.
Stockport Town versus South Liverpool.
Stockport Town.
You reckon?
Yeah, Stockport Town's form at the minute is absolutely sort of smashing. Whereas South Liverpool, they've lost 2 of their last 3.
Yeah. Okay, I'll go for Stockport Town. FC Isle of Man versus Abbey Hay.
FC Isle of Man.
Yeah. Division 1 North, Ashton Athletic versus Main Road.
I honestly believe Ashton Athletic are going to win that one. I know that they should have beaten Garstang on Tuesday night.
Yeah.
But I really do feel like they'll win this one because I just think Main Road is not as good as they were last season.
No.
And I fully believe that Ashton can do it.
Right, okay. I think I'll go along with you there. Ashton Athletic. Baker Borough versus Ashton Town.
I'm going to go Baker Borough here. The Brian Boys Westview Stadium, I think, is a bit of a stronghold for Baker Borough anyway. But they've got, they're scoring goals a lot. I mean, they really should have beaten Steeton. They were up 4-0 at half-time and somehow conspired to draw 4-4. I think they'll do it this time. I really do.
Yeah, we're looking at Ashton Town. They're second from bottom in the form table. They've lost the last 3 games and drawn the one before that. So you have to go, 5 games since the last win.
Yes.
I'm going to go for Baker Borough.
Yeah, who are unbeaten in their last 6.
Yeah.
Okay. First Division South.
Right, yeah. Allscott Heath versus Camelaird.
I'm going Allscott Heath, mate.
Yeah, I think I'll go along with you there. Yeah. No, I'm going to go for a draw.
Mm-hmm.
Change me, man. Asheville versus Eccleshall. I'm going for Eccleshall.
Eccleshall, yes.
Foley versus Wolverhampton
Casuals. God, I don't think it's going to be 8-0 again. I do think the Casuals are going to win it though.
Yeah, I'm going for Foley
Fine.
New Mills versus Horman. New
Mills.
Runcorn Town versus Telford.
Runcorn.
Shawbury versus Sandbach.
Sandbach.
Stafford Town versus Market Drayton Town.
Stafford Town.
Yeah, Stafford Town. Stockport Georgians versus Alsage Town. Stockport Georgians. Right, so continuing the ground hop on Sunday, the 1st of March, Atherton Allow versus Exton. I'm going for Atherton Allow. Daisy Hill versus Steeton. I'm going for Daisy Hill just about.
I am going to go for a draw. I think Daisy Hill Steeton have ratcheted it up in the past few games, so I see them taking something out of this. How many do you see going to LR? I'm seeing about 800 people.
Oh yeah, because we're going to predict the crowds, weren't we?
Yeah, we do.
Difficult one, this. Yeah. You're going for 800?
I've gone for 800 for the LR, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going 650.
Fine.
650. You've got to get my pen out now, so 650 for that one. Yeah, we did this last year, didn't we?
Interestingly enough,
Daisy Hill versus Steeton. I think because of the Ginge power thing,
the Ginge factor,
they might bring a few supporters there, but I'm still going to go for around about.
I'm still going for 7.
I'm going for 600.
Fine. Interestingly enough, there are no games in Division 1 South across the ground hub.
No?
No.
None at all?
No, none at all, and only 1 in the Premier Division.
Right, interesting.
So all Division 1 North.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to next week, Tuesday, the 3rd of March, Premier Division, Abbey Hay versus City of Liverpool.
Oh, that's another massive 6-pointer. I just think...
I see it going to Abbey Hay.
I can only really see it going to Abbey Hay.
Charnock Richard versus Chadderton, going for Chadderton. FC St Helens versus Exton, FC St Helens. Glossop North End versus Barnoldswick, Glossop for me. Earlham versus South Liverpool, Earlham. Longridge versus Cheadle, I'm going for Cheadle. Prestwich Hayes versus Stockport Town, I'm going for Prestwich Hayes. Ramsbottom versus Litherland, going for Ramsbottom.
Yeah.
First Division North, Ashton Athletic versus Squires Gate. That's a bit more difficult for them, that one, but because of the home advantage, I'm going for an Ashton Athletic win. Colne versus Nelson.
Yeah.
McGull versus Thornton Cleveland's. I think that'll be a draw. Yeah, First Division South, Allscott Heath versus Stockport Georgians. Foley versus Eccleshall. Wolverhampton Casuals versus Barnton. Mark and Drayton versus Sandbach. The Liverpool Senior Cup quarterfinals, Marine versus Runcorn Town. Depends what kind of squad they field.
Yeah, I'm still going for Marine.
And after their exploits on Saturday. Yeah, I don't know what to go for there.
I'm going to go for Marine.
I think they might put a weakened squad out there, so I'm going to go for Runcorn Town. Manchester Cup quarter-finals, Droylsden versus West Didsbury and Children. I'm going for West Didsbury and Children.
So am I.
Premier Division on Wednesday, AFC Liverpool versus Padiham. I'm going to go for Padiham.
Yep, so am I.
First Division North, Garstang versus AFC Blackpool, going for AFC Blackpool.
Yeah, so am I.
Yep. First Division South, Telford versus Asheville. Well, I'm going to go for Asheville.
I'm also going for Asheville.
And the quarterfinals of the Macron Cup are on Thursday. West Disbury and Chiltern versus Thornton Cleveland.
West Disbury and Chiltern.
Yeah, we'll go along with that. Yeah, brilliant. So that rounds up the fixtures for the week ahead. Good luck to all those on the ground hop. I think it's amazing what the people that set that up are doing.
Yeah. So we have an interview with him from about a year ago, but for the life of me, cannot remember his name. Sorry.
Is it Baresi or something?
Chris Baresi.
Chris Baresi.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah, I couldn't forget. Just couldn't remember the first name, but yeah, definitely Chris. Yeah.
Alrighty.
So yeah, listen. We didn't really look at the crowds for. Should we go quickly through them, the ground hop, because we've done them two there, but we didn't do Darwin versus Cone.
No.
I think that's going to be a big one. I think that's going to be 1,000.
Yeah, I said 800.
Did you?
Yeah, I think I'm going to change it. I'm going to change it to 9. I think 900.
FC St Helens. That's not one of them. Take the notice. So the other ground up: Fullwood Amateurs versus Garstang. I'm going to say about 500.
I'm saying 4.
Thornton Cleveland's MSB Walton.
7.
I'm going to go 4. Squiersgate versus Nelson. I'm going to go for 5.
5.
AFC Blackpool versus Hull Good Old
4.
Boys. Go for 450. No rationale between that at all.
No.
I just thought I'd
Yes.
throw that in there.
Fine.
Yeah, brilliant.
Alrighty.
That rounds everything up there.
Yes.
Let's come to that final part of the show with, what have you learned this week so far?
God, it's been a difficult one actually, because this week, sort of particularly in Controversial Corner, has really kind of dragged me down. I hate discussing racism.
Yeah.
And I hate the fact that we have to use our airtime to kind of cover it and discuss it, because it still gives it a platform of it being out there in the world still, and I hate that. I'm I just wish people had just let them play football, man. That's all people want to do, just play football.
I listen, off the back of what you've said there, I feel as though I don't see an awful lot of racism in football. Thankfully.
First hand, you mean?
First hand.
Yeah.
I don't see it first hand.
No.
And I'd like to think that the vast majority of people are decent human beings.
Yeah.
I'd like to think that, but when you see these reports coming up all the time, it like you say, it's annoying.
Yeah,
it really is. Why we have to discuss this time and time again is because it is happening more often.
I'm afraid so.
I think it's getting picked up more on social media as well. So there's probably a lot of racism that we don't see as well. And like I say, some of these people, I've sat in crowds of people at the Park Road in Goodison, the old Goodison, surrounded by accountants, solicitors, really professional people, and probably as many racists amongst the professional people as there is through the working classes. Listen, it's annoying. We shouldn't really be talking about it, but
no, we shouldn't.
But what did I learn this week? I learned that sometimes when you feel as though things have got to the worst point, and I'm talking about from a footballing perspective, when we're 3-2 down and it looks as though the game is gone, and we're not going to. We knew it was going to go to. There was no extra time. We knew it was going directly to penalties. So that was the one thing that you were hoping for. I was disappointed, but I was happy. I was pleased with the performance that we put in. So I was really pleased, thinking to myself, even if we lose now, I'm really happy with the way the players have conducted themselves, because they didn't stop. But then, of course, football has that way of dragging you down and pulling you right up into orbit within a split second.
Yeah.
And we've managed to get back on terms just before the referee's about to whistle. And then You know he's about to whistle just before we've scored, just after that moment.
It would just be typical, wouldn't it?
But you know what? Then he's left it about another minute just to curse you, just to put the willies up you, to really to scare you.
just to frighten you a little bit, and then just to give you one last little glimpse of hope.
But that euphoria, going from such a low,
agony, agony to the ecstasy.
Because feeling as though the lads deserved it more than anything, because they've been criticised for an awful lot, and I've been critical of them myself at times, and said that they've given up. I think we said it against River, didn't we, when we lost 7-1 in the
East Villa
in the first game, was it? We felt as though we were still in the game at half time. And we didn't sort of come back into the game the way we thought we should have done in the second half. And then by the time it got to 4-1, our heads just went completely down, and we feared and felt as though they'd given up. Yeah. They'd just not given up in this game, and that was courageous. Yeah. And to see them get something out of it, for them more than me, it was to see them get something out of it. So really amazed for them that they'd managed to get it back to penalties, and if even if we'd have lost on penalties, it wouldn't have mattered so much. But then Joe going from villain to hero, saving that first penalty, and then the brilliance, the execution of those penalties,
all five of them,
and I was just amazed by the fact that it was a nice way to round off a very difficult, challenging period, because I can't remember last time we'd won a game.
The last time we'd won a game was the opening week in January. Yeah.
Which is a long time in football, isn't it?
That's an awful long time in football, yeah.
So I've just learned that it's never over until
I think I'm going to...
Until the referee whistles cross time.
I'm going to quote Tommy Lawson for this one. And I remember after the Main Road game last season, he was never in doubt that we'd get something out of this game, and one of the things that he said that always sticks with me is, "You'll get one more chance. You'll always get one more. There'll always be one more."
And Raghoff always used to say, "Only takes a second to score a goal."
Yeah, you're not wrong there. But so in terms of scam opportunities, we'll get one more. We'll always get one more.
Yeah, brilliant. A good way to sound that particular part off.
Yeah.
We'll leave the final words to the... Have you got something else to say first?
Nah.
No? You sure? You're tired now? Listen, it's not as epic as last week.
No, it's not. There's no chocolate, no sweets.
Rowena's not here.
She's not, so
I've
not been fed.
No, never mind
I'm
anyway.
Hungry. Anyway.
Listen, we leave the final words to the dulcet tones of AJ.
You've been listening to the Speaking Frankly Football Show with me, AJ Vegette, and my co-host, Mr. Frank Hughes. This podcast is available on most streaming services, wherever you get your podcasts, including Amazon Music and Spotify. Please rate and review, as we do thrive off hearing your words. Please also subscribe so that you can find out firsthand when a new episode of the show has been released. We're also available on social media sites, including Facebook and X, under the banner term Speaking Frankly Football Show. And so from Frank and myself, thank you very, very much for listening, and we'll see you next week for another episode of the show. Until then, bye-bye for now.